Digestive system is comprised of alimentary canal and other associated glands such as pancreas and liver. Alimentary canal is a long tube that runs from the mouth all the way down to the anus, where undigestible and indigestible materials are defecated. Alimentary canal is divided into regions that carry out digestion and the absorption of food substances. They include mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, colon, and rectum.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in my channel. If this is the first time you are coming across my video, kindly subscribe because I've got lots more to tell you in this video. So come along with me. First things first, I am a practicing mathematics and science teacher, and my desire has always been to help learners across the globe to comprehend the so-called difficult scientific and mathematical concepts in order for them to have high power of retention. Being in a third world school, I encounter lots of challenges, especially when conducting practical activities, as well as buying expensive models to effectively instill scientific concepts to learners, especially the time takers. This video and many other in my channel have greatly solved this problem because soft copy materials can be used over and over again, because they say repetition is mother of all studies. If this interests you, kindly share this video to the relevant audience to help me fulfill my desire. Did you hear that? Alright, take a look.
Digestion in the mouth. The process of digestion begins immediately you put food in the mouth. In the mouth we have teeth, which aid the process of mastication. This is whereby food is chewed and grinded by the teeth to mechanically break it down into smaller pieces to increase surface area for enzymatic action. Still in the mouth, we have tongue that turns food, mixing it with saliva that is produced by various salivary glands such as sublingual salivary glands that are beneath the tongue, submandibular salivary glands that are under the jaw, and the palatine salivary glands that are in front of the ears. Apart from loading food into small boluses for easy swallowing, tongue can also be used for tasting, checking the temperature of the food, and for pushing food down the esophagus. During swallowing, trachea, which is the entrance to the respiratory system, is blocked by epiglottis to prevent food from entering the larynx. Instead, moves into the pharynx down into the esophagus. If you keenly look at the video, you will also see another conical looking flap of muscles that also prevent food from entering the nasal cavity. Let us now look at the component of saliva. Saliva contains water. Water is important because it moistens and softens food, providing good medium for enzymatic activity. It also contains mucus. Mucus lubricate food during chewing and swallowing. It also contains salts such as bicarbonate of sodium and calcium that provides an alkaline pH which is suitable for the digestion of carbohydrate. Finally, saliva contains salivary amylase is an important enzyme that reduces carbohydrate into smaller units known as maltose. From the mouth, food is then swallowed and moves down through the pharynx, down the esophagus to the stomach by the process known as peristalsis. Note that esophagus is made up of several layers of muscles. However, the two outermost layers of muscles are responsible for the peristalsis, that is, the external longitudinal muscles and the inner circular muscles, which undergoes a rhythmic series of contraction and relaxation, resulting in a wave-like motion along the esophagus we are calling peristalsis. You need to note that peristaltic movement occurs throughout alimentary canal. Let us now look at digestion in the stomach and the structure of the stomach. A stomach is a bean-shaped structure that can hold an approximate of 1.5 liters of materials. It is in close proximity to very important blood vessels, and that it is covered with lymph nodes which are important in immune system. Looking at the inside of the stomach, it has thick layers of muscles whose contraction and relaxation produces movement that mix contents of the stomach. It contains foldings that have numerous gastric glands. Food enters the stomach through cardiac sphincter muscle from the esophagus. Gastric glands produces gastric juice, which is produced by simply smearing or seeing food. There is a ring of muscle that separates esophagus and the stomach known as cardiac sphincter muscle. It prevents food from going back to the esophagus to produce a burning sensation known as heartburn. This is because esophagus, unlike other parts, lacks epithelial cells that produces mucus that prevent auto digestion of its wall. Vigorous contraction and relaxation of stomach muscles result into mixing stomach content to form a semi-liquid substance known as chyme. Note that when stomach is empty, the contraction of muscular walls of the stomach produces a rumbling noise like this. This noise is known as anger pang. The component of gastric juice produced by gastric glands includes hydrochloric acid that kills any disease-causing microorganism that might be in the food that we eat. It activates conversion of pepsinogen to active pepsin and also provide an acidic medium required for the action of pepsin. Gastric juice also contains gastric lipase that is able to split only a single fatty acid. Gastric juice also contains mucus, which lubricates the food and protects the stomach walls from the effect of endochloric acid and auto digestion of stomach walls. Production of too much endochloric acid may cause a very painful wound known as ulcer. The process of digestion takes different time depending with the type of food that is being digested. Simple sugars and carbohydrates take the shortest time. Protein take longer time, but fats take the longest time. Small intestines are divided into three regions: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The walls of small intestines are covered by small finger-like projections known as villi and microvilli that increase surface area of digestion and absorption. Note that duodenum and jejunum have greater folds that extend around 1 centimeter of each lumen. Pancreas and liver produces substances that are emptied in the first portion of small intestine known as the duodenum. Liver produces substance known as bile, which is stored in the gallbladder, whereas pancreas produces substance known as pancreatic juice that contains a number of substances that we shall see later. Bile contains a number of salts. One of it is sodium hydrogen carbonate, which neutralizes the acidic condition of chyme that is coming from the stomach. This stops the action of pepsin, hence converting the pH of chyme to be alkaline. The alkaline pH provides a suitable medium for the action of enzymes in the small intestines. Bile also contains other salts known as sodium glycocholate and sodium taurocholate, both of which break down fats and oils into tiny fat droplets. This increases surface area for the digestion of the fat. This process is known as emulsification. Pancreatic juice contains an enzyme known as trypsin that is secreted in an inactive form, trypsinogen, that converts proteins into peptides. It also contains pancreatic amylase that continues with the digestion of starch that might have escaped in the mouth to maltose, galactose, and to sucrose as it is necessary. Pancreatic juice also contains pancreatic lipase that digest repins to fatty acids and glycerol. Remember, in the stomach we had gastric lipase that was able to free one fatty acid. However, in the duodenum, lipins were able to be split into two molecules of fatty acids because bile salt that we have mentioned was able to break down fat into fatty droplets, hence increasing the surface area of its digestion. Now the chyme from the stomach is slowly emptied in the duodenum to mix with the secretions of the pancreas and the liver via pyloric sphincter. Note that the walls of duodenum and ileum has got foldings that extends about 1 centimeter into the lumen, which are covered by small finger-like projections called villi and microvilli, which increase the surface area for digestion and absorption. Chyme from the first and second portion of small intestine is taken to the ileum, which is the third portion of small intestine, by the process known as peristalsis, whereby the presence of chyme in the ileum activates the intestinal glands to secrete an intestinal juice called succus utricus, which contains the following enzymes: lipase, which hydrolyzes any remaining repins into fatty acids and glycerols; maltase, sucrase, and lactase to complete the digestion of starch into maltose and isomaltose, such as the galactose and the sucrose; peptidase to complete the digestion of proteins into constituent amino acids. Remember that entire alimentary canal has mucus secreted along its length and as a muscular wall to assist in the movement of food by peristalsis. Note that the primary function of ileum is absorption, and therefore each villus contains blood capillaries and lacteal, whereby nutrients, as you can see in the video green here, indicate diffusion of nutrient into the blood capillaries, and transported to various body tissues by the blood. Absorption of simple sugars into the bloodstream doesn't require carriers, for they are transported freely in the blood. However, some nutrients such as iron require transfer proteins. For example, fats are transported by lipoproteins which are then absorbed in the lacteal of the villus. Each villus is further converted by numerous microvilli that absorbs nutrient and transport them to the inside of the villus, as well as vitamins such as B12 and any remaining bile acids back to the liver. Let us now look at digestion and absorption in the large intestine. Colon and rectum make up large intestine. It is much thicker than small intestines. Materials enter large intestine through the cecum. From there, materials are pushed up the large intestine across and down to the rectum by peristalsis that is facilitated by the contraction and relaxation of smooth muscles. Materials here move slowly because its muscles are poorly developed. Once inside, we can see the many folds that was absent in the small intestines. Note that the main function of large intestine is to package indigestible matter forming feces. This is possible because it absorbs most of the water, leaving a relatively dry residue called feces. If food passes too quickly, little water is absorbed and you may have diarrhea. If it passes too slowly, too much water is absorbed and this causes constipation. It is estimated that large intestines have close to 100 billion bacteria, which are very important for production of vitamins and decomposition of fiber for energy production. This microbial activity results into formation of various gases such as carbon dioxide, methane and hydrogen sulfide that results to a filthy odor of the feces. Feces is then pushed to the rectum where it is stoned temporarily and finally removed through the anus. It is important to note that the whole process from the time you swallow food to the time it leaves your body in form of feces takes 2 to 4 days.
Kindly give me your 5 minutes to take you through the fate of absorbed nutrients and vitamins. Now, digested food must first of all be taken through to the liver for various reasons. One, to regulate their concentration in the general bloodstream, as well as to ensure that their concentration is maintained at a constant level immediately after the meal. And this is how this happens. Now, we know that carbohydrate is considered to be completely digested when it has been converted into 3 monosaccharides: glucose, fructose, and galactose. You need to know that galactose and fructose in the liver, it has to be converted into glucose. Excess glucose undergoes various transformations. One, it can be taken to the liver for oxidation, for storage in form of glycogen, or to be converted into fat so that it can be stored into fat depots that are found under the skin, around the heart, around the kidney, and around the abdominal organs. Some glucose go directly to the bloodstream, but they are maintained at a low constant rate around 90 to 100 grams per 100 cubic centimeter. As the level of glucose falls in the general bloodstream, liver hydrolyzes the stored glycogen into glucose and take it to the general circulation. This process of conversion of excess glucose into glycogen and glycogen into glucose is controlled by 2 hormones, insulin and glucagon, which are produced by the pancreas. Proteins, on the other hand, are considered to be completely digested when converted into amino acids. However, unlike carbohydrates, excess amino acids are not stored in the body. Instead, the amino group is removed in form of ammonia, and the remaining organic compound is either converted into glucose or oxidized to release energy. Lipids, on the other hand, are considered to be completely digested when they have been converted into fatty acids and glycerols, which are then shed into the lacteal of the villi, which are carried into the lymphatic system, and then the lymphatic system carries it to the bloodstream, where it will be transported to the adipose tissues for the storage. Vitamins and minerals, as you know and as you have learned from the video, they don't undergo digestion because they are already in a simple absorbable form. Now, vitamins and minerals are first of all to be taken to the liver for storage, and then they shall be released into the bloodstream according to the body's need. Note that fat-soluble vitamins require presence of the bile for their transportation, and these vitamins include vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin A. Did you hear that? Of course, yeah. This marks the end of today's tutorial. It's my trust that you have understood the whole process from digestion, from absorption, and the concentration regulation of nutrients and vitamins in the general blood circulation.